So hello, today we're going to be doing terrain and trees. So currently in this project, I just imported some random grass texture from online, and also I got this this random 3D person controller from the asset store, just for testing purposes. So the first thing we should do is make some terrain, and to do that, you just create a new 3D object and terrain. This creates a massive section here. So default, this is 256 by 256 units. I think you can change it somewhere. I'm not sure where, but we won't worry about that right now. So what this is this creates this special terrain component on this object, and that means you can edit this terrain. So right now it's pretty flat, so we can edit it by just going to this paint. No, this hold on, no, yeah, paint, and then raise or lower.
Wait.
You can then modify the brush size, and then you can change the ground. So like this. I'll just do this for example, and I'll bring my character onto the terrain. So then it makes this here. So this is all colliderable. It all has colliders on it. So if I run over to it, yeah, this lighting is horrible. But you can walk up it. This character has like certain angle it can climb up. So it can't climb up everywhere. But as you can see, you can climb up here. So obviously that was a pretty random of how I did the height. So you can make it, you know, more exciting by changing the brush. If we do this one, depending on the whiteness value on the square here, it will paint a different section. So if it's white, it will paint, and if it's black, it won't paint. So in this example, it will be paint a lot in the middle and then go slowly out so it doesn't paint at all. And this way you can make like more smooth terrain. And then this one's just the same but a bit pointier. And then this one's like got a little bit of texture to it. And you can just go through these, and then, you know, maybe a star or something. I don't know why this is here, but yeah. And you can add your own thing here. So if you have a black and white texture, so like, I don't know, let's go for like, maybe this might not work, I don't know. And we can actually do the texture of this pen thing there. So this brush size obviously increases the scale of it. So now it's a massive thing there. Obviously we don't want it that big because it's bigger than our terrain. And then this opacity depends, or it makes it more violent, the change. So if I have it really high and I just click, it makes a massive one. But if it's really low and I just click, I have to click quite a lot for it to do anything. So that's the raise and lower terrain. Oh, to lower it, you shift and left click like it says here. However, it can't go lower than this start plane, I'm pretty sure, unless they change that in a new version. Let's have a look. Yeah, you can't go lower than this start level, but For instance, I can just remove all this like that. So any questions currently? Can everyone see?
Is the terrain just a height map, or can you like make it? Can you make a cave, for example?
Yeah, so it's only height map terrain. It's not voxel terrain. However, there is something I will cover in a second, which allows you to kind of make a cave, but not that well. So if we just carry on going through these, so this is the thing here: paint holes. So this allows you to make a massive hole here. So what you could do is you could make a hole and then model a mesh to fit that hole to make it look like a cave, which obviously, like, that's not the best, but it's the best you can do with a height map. So, and you can do control Z to undo and everything. So yeah, this will no longer have a collider. So you can just fall straight through. And then if you set it up properly, you can have your cave entrance match the holes here. So you can see here that like it's very blocky. I'll cover how to fix that later. I'll undo these. So, okay, so you can texture your terrain. So to do that, you need to add a new texture. So you create a new layer. No, wrong one. Create layer. And this just requires a texture. So I'll go with this grass. And it starts out with just this whole grass being the one texture, but you can add more. So let's add like gravel. And then you can click on the gravel, and then you can just paint it on like that. And you can also add like normal maps and stuff, so I'm pretty sure this gravel has normal. It does the whole same thing with materials, which might be covered in a different session, but it's kind of, yeah, this is like a shader part there. And again, you can change the brush as well, so you might want to make some stars of gravel. Again, I don't know why the stars are there, but you know, it's, if you want the stars, well. So the next one is set. So this one you can determine more accurately your height map. So currently it's set to 0, so when I do anything on it, it's not doing anything. So for example, if I want to have like a height, it will make the height 50. Obviously, again, its opacity depends on how much it's going to do. So if it's at 100, it will do it more. So what this does is it will set the max height to be 50. So as you can see, if I just click once, it doesn't set it to this height here. But if I hold it down, so you can't just hold it down, you have to move it, which is bad, but you know, if you see, it's not going any higher than this, which is 50. So it also says here you can shift and left click to get height from a terrain. So say we wanted this height here, I can just do this, and then I can then bring it up to this height instead. So flatten tile will just set it to basically reset everything. Flatten all will make sense later when I show you add in more tiles. So the next one is smooth height. So if we do something like this, and we just make it really spiky, and we don't want it to be as spiky, so we can like maybe walk up it. We can get the smooth height tool. That's a bit big, and just do this. So it will try to like normalize the height, so it's smoother. So as you can see, it's getting smooth. So your player might be able to walk up it now. And again, you can smooth with random shapes again. And stamp terrain, I'm not exactly sure what it does. Hold on. Okay, so it seems to just. Okay, by using it, I think what this is doing is you set a height for it. As you click, it will automatically set it to that height. So rather than set height, doing it incrementally, this will just set it as soon as you click with the shape, it looks like. Yeah. And you can't hold and drag, you just have to manually click. Subtract, I guess, does the opposite. Where, oh, I don't know what subtract does it? Yeah, okay, I don't know what. Yeah, this one I'm not sure. This one's new, I think. But yeah, so that's the painting tool. So does anyone have any questions for this?
What if you tried changing the height and then subtracting?
Say that again.
What if you changed to the height and then tried subtracting? Would that do anything?
Oh, hang on. Oh, wait, this goes. Oh, now we can line into the ground. Okay, hold on.
Ah.
Okay, well, so it looks like you can click multiple times. Okay, so it looks like this actually doesn't set it to the height, it just adds this number of height, actually. Okay. Yeah, so this seems like you can actually go into the ground. Does that mean you can lower into the ground here? Oh, wait, you can lower into the ground. Okay, I didn't think you could. Well, there we go. So you can lower into the ground now.
I think there's like a kind of a minimum value you can like lower into, and when you create the terrain, it's like all of the terrain is at a certain level. And I don't know if there's a setting somewhere for that, but I think if you
No, I know what happened. I know what happened.
Yeah.
I did set height and I did flatten, which flattened it to that height.
Yeah, that would be it. So then you can mine 40 down if it was set at 40 height.
That's why. Okay. So I'm pretty sure there's no limit of how high it can be, right? So like, or there might be. Okay, I think it's 256. Maybe not. Maybe it's 1512. Yeah, I think it's 1512. So I think it's 1512 across and across as well. Not 256. Yeah. So that's most of the tools for this. So does anyone have any other questions about these tools? Nope. Okay. So if we come back to this, so what you can do is if you see these boxes, you can then click on them to then add more terrain tiles. So if this isn't big enough, you can add multiple, and then you can then edit these as one terrain. So if we do this, make this slightly larger. So if we go along like this, and then we move the mouse across, as you can see, it's merged these together. Even though they're two separate objects, it's edited them at the same time. So to make large worlds, this is one way to do it, by applying the tiles using this. So then you can then use the set height to then flatten all of it to this. But then, oh, wrong one. But then with flatten tile, it will only do that one. to this one, and then flatten this top. It won't edit this one here, but it edits this one. So that's terrain. So this icon is trees, so we can move on to trees now, if that's alright. If anyone has any more questions about terrain. Nope. Okay, great. So trees are actually really interested. If I get rid of these trees, I recently learned how cool trees are. So again, you just go to 3D object and then tree, and then it'll make a new tree. There we go. So when you make a terrain, it makes a whole bunch of random files here. So this one was the start terrain data here, which just includes the different heights for the sections. But then these ones I didn't use, so I'll just delete them. So as you can see, when it kind of slows your PC down quite a bit. So I'd only use it if you have a decent PC. Okay, so this is the tree. So when you make a new tree object, it will make a tree prefab down here. So this is our tree in the game. So currently we just have the stem of the tree, I think. I don't know what it's called. The first branch of the tree, which you can see here. So this is the base tree. And then from that base we have one stalk coming out of it. So when you click on this stalk, you can see a bunch of squares have popped up here, which means that you can grab a square and then just move it around to then edit the tree manually. And you can make some really weird looking tree. So there we go, we have a tree here. But sometimes you don't want to edit just the tree. So luckily this Unity system has ways to just make it procedural. So there's this group seed here which you can change and it will randomize the tree. So the tree stem has a bunch of options. So frequency we'll talk about in a second, and distribute. So this section we'll talk about in a second. I think these are for extra branches that come off. So the LOD modifier means that the further away it is, the less quality, the lower quality it has. So it just means that it's more optimized when it would not render the tree basically when it doesn't need to. And then geometry mode, I don't know what this does. I just leave it as branch. So branch material. Let's just add like a. So when you let's add this proto orange. Tree shader, okay. Well, I guess maybe make it a material. So if we go down to shape, this is the interesting part. So on this length here, you can change like a bound, which is the min max length. Make a new seed. It's not doing anything. I don't know what's going on. Okay, it looks like my tree's broken. Let me restart my tree. Oh, I got rid of the tree. Okay. Let's restart this tree. Okay, so okay, there we go. Right, so if we set this to this, the max and min. So when it randomizes a height, it will randomize it between those values. So you might want a large distribution like this, or you might want a small distribution like this. So you can click on the handles at the end to increase the size, or you can click on the center to change where along this size is. So I'm using 19.4.9. I'm not sure if these are still the same for previous versions or not. So I wouldn't risk it. I'd go for like the latest version because they overhauled the trees and the terrain system, I think, recently. So I'll go for the latest version. So that's the length property. So the radius property, as you might expect, changes the radius. So as you can see, it's really thick at the bottom and thin at the top. So if you click on this, you can change the curve. So currently it's just a straight line down, but you can change it to going upwards. So it starts off small and ends pretty thick. You can make it curvy like this. Or you can just directly edit it. So the diamonds you can see, you can click on them and then drag them across. So currently we're same thickness across the whole board, but if we want it to go to 0 like that, and then to make a new diamond you double click, and then you can move this diamond around. So the start and end diamonds you can only move, but the ones in between you can change the direction. So you can make it go, like this and then curve. So then obviously that looks a bit weird. So let's move it back. But you could go like insane, something like that, but let's just go for something like this. I don't know. Sure, that looks fine. Okay. And then I'm not sure what this option does. Let's have a look. Okay, it rounds it. Okay. I'm guessing that if we have it so this is not set to 0, and I'm vanish that. So when you vanish it, it doesn't take up any resources, so it doesn't lag as much. So as you can see, this is now at a point, and if we turn off cap smoothing, it looks a bit weird. And if you put it to 1, it looks like a point. Oh wait, maybe not. Yeah, so it just makes it look a bit nicer at the end. So let's leave it like that. So crinkliness just makes it very strange. It looks strange on this one branch, but we'll go into multiple branches in a second. Let's do that, and then just again you can change it a little bit, but I'm not going to mess with this too much. But the option is there. So noise. Okay, for those that don't know, noise is basically randomness, but it's like structured random. So it will try to pick a value nearby to the previous value. So it just makes more sense. So this is just making trees more random, I think. So I mean, I'm just gonna leave it for now. Okay, so that's most of the branch. So if we go back to here, if we want to add more branches, we click this add branch group, and it'll create a branch. And again, we can move these branches around. However, sometimes you don't just want one branch, so let's put it back to this. We can add more branches by increasing the frequency. Why can't I increase the frequency? Okay, there we go. So now we've got loads of branches. That looks very strange. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. So now we've got a bunch of branches. So this is frequency of 22, which means that at max it would be 22. So if we have more, oh, that's the wrong one. We have that. Okay. Oh wait, why is it 7? Okay, I don't know what this frequency actually does then. I thought it was a max of 22, but apparently not, because it says 7. Okay, well, I mean, whatever value it says here is how many branches it has. So currently it's 18 at a frequency of 100. So I'll go for this number rather than this number here. It looks like. Let's shrink our tree a little bit. Okay, so obviously these are sub branches, so we don't want to have them as long. So we can shorten those. And I think we can make it so we can push them up by doing this. So we make it so the minimum height, so they're more likely to go out near the end than they are to the start. So we can increase the start of the start by moving this along. That looks a bit strange still, so we'll bring this down. So again, this is just playing with random numbers just to figure out what feels right. So again, we can change the same branches properties here, make them longer. So this is where the crinkliness comes in. So you can, that's maybe a bit too much. You can add more crinkles and then just like, yeah, make the branches look a bit funky. So you can also add more branch groups to one branch. So if we add another one, we can make this one slightly larger, but maybe not that large, and then maybe have more of them. Like that, so you can have more trees, more branches off this tree, and then off these branch groups you can then add more branches. So then this will do a branch for each other branch. So each of these 18, it will create one more branch, which is why it says 18 here. But again, you can increase this again. So maybe like there we go. So now we have a lot of branches here. So now we have 122 branches. Okay, let's just lower that a little bit. Okay, there we go. So, I mean, obviously you can keep doing this, but at some point you might want to have leaves. So if we add a leaf, which is this one here, it'll then create these squares of leaves. So again, we can change the size, which can again be a range. So these size values are also based on their parents. So these leaves, depending on how big their branches are, will change size. So again, we can also increase the frequency of leaves. So maybe like 50. or something, and then make a bunch of leaves. So now we've got 165 leaves here. So the leaves have less properties. You can just say how they're aligned to the branch. But again, you can do the distribution as well. So inside the distribution, there's different values. So random, alternate, and then opposite, and then I don't know how to say that, but again, it's just fiddling with random values until you get a tree that looks nice. So then that's the basics for a tree. I'm going to remove this branch. So now this is our tree. So let me figure out how to color it, because I colored it before. Okay, right, yeah, so inside this tree, which we've made, we have the materials. So this is our bark, so we might want to change this to like a brown color, and then our leaf to green, and then we have okay, it's not a decent looking tree, but it's a tree of some sort. So do we have any questions about trees? That was quite a lot covered. Have I disconnected or something? Can you guys still hear me?
Hello.
Hello, can you guys hear? Okay,
Yep.
great. So is that, I'm guessing that's no questions then? Okay, well, so now we have our tree. I guess we can add our tree to the terrain. So if we turn that off, we can then bring our terrain back and go to the tree. So then we need to set what trees we have, so we can add a new tree. And then put this here. And then click add. And then again we just have paint, and then we can just go like that and then make a bunch of random trees. And because they're currently all the same tree, we can adjust the height. So let's get rid of these. So now if we do that, the trees have different heights. I mean, obviously these trees are terrible trees, but you know, this is one way to make like a massive forest. And then go into play mode and just walk around this forest. So one unfortunate thing is that the trees don't have colliders. And also that they are quite laggy as well. So yeah, so as you can see, we can just walk straight through these trees, but they are here. The short ones look a bit funky, but there we go. I now have to wait for it to unload one. Okay, so if we remove all these trees, so sometimes you might be a bit lazy and don't want to paint everything yourself. So you can click on a tree and then click mass place trees, and then it'll bring up this, and then you can set how many trees. Let's just do 1,000, and then keep existing trees will just, so if this is off, it'll delete all the current trees on the terrain and then replace them, but we don't have any trees, so we don't care. So I'll click place, and then it randomly distributes a bunch of trees over the terrain. And I think if we make another tree, let's just make this one branch tree, because I'm lazy. And then if we add a new tree, which would be this second one, I think we can multi-select these. Oh wait, no, we can't. Okay, well, I guess we can also mass place these, and then if we turn off keep existing trees on, and then place another 1,000 of these, it will then place those trees as well. Does anyone have any questions about trees? No. Okay. Well, I guess I'll move on to paint details. So the details are basically like flowers and stuff. I don't know if I have any flowers. I guess I can download a flower real quick. So while I waited, I mean, I'm happy to answer any questions. If anyone has any.
Well, then I think we're all good so far. It's pretty straightforward, I think.
Okay, great. And I apologize, slow PC. What's going on? So, like, turn off the terrain for now. So it's not doing anything too intensive. Yeah, let's go for some low poly flowers. So we can just drag these in. I'm sure we can just okay, I'm not actually sure how this works. One second. I don't know whether it's just because it's being slow or whether I'm doing it wrong. Turn off auto generate lighting because that's going to make it slow. Okay, well, I don't actually know how this works, so we're just going to ignore that for now and move on to this one, which is basically just properties for the tree. No, for the terrain. So yeah, auto connect means that you can do this. I think now that it's off, we can't paint between. yeah, we can't paint between the terrain now, but that's pretty useful, so I'll leave that on. So draw obviously would make it leaves or not. So most of these are pretty safe to be left the same, but the one that you might be interested in is this. So if we go back to here and then paint out the whole, like there for example, it's currently got a bunch of squares which is not the best looking, so you can increase this which should then, okay, that there's the opposite effect. Okay, so this made it have less resolution. So if we make it 1, okay, this might actually lag. Let's make it 100. Okay, I don't know what happened to that. Okay, I understand what it's doing actually. Okay. So it looks like what this is doing is it's actually making it so it's making the mesh resolution that stays the same, but it's over a separate smaller distance now. So let's get rid of these trees. So it seems to have kept all of our details, but just shrunk it all down. So now if we paint a hole, it's still blocky, but it's over a less size area. So in the game it's less. Why is it so slow? I played and I unplayed it. Okay, let's get rid of this terrain because I don't need this. So I'm not sure why it's so slow. It's probably because I have a stream and a recording going at the same time. So yes, this is now less blocky hole. I mean, it's still a bit blocky, but that's probably the best you're gonna be able to get, unfortunately. See what other options are here. Yeah, so you can also change the size of this. So currently it's 512 by 512, but we can make it. Oh no, that was probably a bit too big. Wait, that didn't do anything. Requires resampling on change. Well, I don't know what that means. But yeah, basically you can just change the size here. I'm not sure what it means by resampling. But that's basically everything about terrains. So there's one more thing I wanted to to show that was pretty cool.
I was just gonna say with the resampling thing, it probably means if you go from a really high resolution height map to a lower one, it has to resample. So like when you add a hole, so you have like a really high resolution hole, and then you go to a lower height map resolution, it probably needs to like make that hole blockier. I think that's what it means.
Right. Okay.
That was my best guess.
But I'm not sure how to resample it.
Me neither. Maybe it does it automatically, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So now we have this, let's put our trees back in. These ones. Let's only place like 100 now because it's smaller. Oh wait, it does mass place both. Okay, yeah, so mass place will do both trees, it looks like, which is pretty interesting. Okay, so on the trees, there's something at the bottom. So if you click on, a leaf or a branch, at the bottom it says create wind zone. So if you click that, it'll create this object here, which is a wind zone. So if we now play, man. So as you can see now, the leaves and stuff are shaking around. So we can increase it so they shake more. And also you can change it to spherical, and then it makes this. And if you move it, it will then shake. But if you put in directional, you can then also, it's based on the forward of the arrow here, so you can just change the direction and it will change the wind, as you can see. So I mean, that's basically everything about terrain and trees that Unity offers. Obviously the best thing to do is just go in and fiddle around. Just like have a look, see, try and make some trees and terrain on your own to actually understand what's going on. Like obviously these trees are pretty garbage, but they were a rush job. So yeah, that's basically everything. I mean, any questions? Okay.
It doesn't look like it. I think that everyone is happy with that. That was very good. Thank you.
Okay, I guess I'll stop recording now, alright?
Sure.